Next on the agenda, and as stated, is
resolution. Next is a resolution.
okay.
Good morning, Mr. President. I would like to submit a resolution for the board's consideration today. This resolution was brought to my attention and asked by Supervisor Calhoun to bring up a resolution for the board's consideration. This issue was brought about during our budget hearing discussions as we discussed all the budgetary matters that we were shaping our 2011-2012 fiscal year budget. And this resolution is relative to endorsing local and private legislation in support of the development of a behavioral health treatment court collaborative in Hinds County, Mississippi, to be considered during the 2012 session of the Mississippi Legislature. And the resolution reads as follows.
Before you read the resolution, let me just mention here, and as this woman has experienced, that jails are becoming mental health crisis centers for the mentally ill that are picked up for getting in trouble with the law. And even though some counties have a psychiatrist to provide to provide mental care, the jails are not equipped to provide the necessary health care that is needed. And some of the mentally ill that are being housed in our jails come with dual diagnosis of drug abuse as well as diagnosed with a mental illness. And each and every day, counties are becoming burdened with providing health care for the mentally ill. So I thought this would be a good opportunity prior to our new legislative session for 2012. This would be a good opportunity to request help, financial help, from our state legislature.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you. Supervisor Calhoun. The resolution reads as follows. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Hinds County, Mississippi requests support for certain proposed legislation involving the funding of care for incarcerated individuals with behavioral health issues and the establishment and development of a behavioral treatment court collaborative. And whereas currently one of the most serious problems facing the criminal justice system nationally and in Hinds County is the large number of incarcerated offenders that have behavioral health issues. Whereas HIV, drug, alcohol, and mental health offenders create a backlog of cases in the criminal justice system. These same offenders contribute to jail overcrowding, overload the probation departments, and significantly contribute to increased prison populations. And whereas Hinds County, Mississippi has been forced to care for individuals with behavioral health issues, notwithstanding being ill-equipped to do so properly. And whereas Hinds County, Mississippi has experienced a substantial increase in medical costs, such as physician services, pharmaceuticals, and other related expenses for the care of inmates and detainees within the system. And whereas in the past 2 decades, local, state, and federal authorities have acknowledged that the HIV, substance abuse, mental health problems have reached serious and severe proportions. And whereas law and policymakers have begun to seek alternatives that lessen the strain and impact that drug offenders place on the criminal justice system. And whereas the building of more correctional facilities may resolve some of the problems, lack of funding for mental and behavioral health agencies has reduced the availability of both short and long-term treatment facilities in Hinds County. And whereas the purpose of the criminal justice system is not to house individuals who are mentally ill, The high proportion of offenders with mental health needs represents an opportunity to provide access to treatment and other needed services. And whereas the provisions for funding the care of incarcerated individuals with behavioral health issues are inadequate and is in the need of additional financial assistance, we also recommend provisions to fund the establishment of a behavioral treatment court collaborative, which would allow our courts more flexibility in working with the other judicial components and allow the local treatment and recovery providers to better address behavioral health needs of adults that are involved in the criminal justice system. And whereas this collaborative would allow individuals with any type of behavioral health issue, substance abuse, misuse of alcohol, drug addiction, serious psychological distress, and or mental disorder to receive treatment and recovery support services. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Hinds County, Mississippi strongly encourages legislative initiatives to be considered during the 2012 Mississippi legislative session in support of funding for the care of incarcerated individuals with behavioral health issues.
Okay, I know for sure that is an issue that definitely has to be addressed on a adult and even in our youth court. That's a growing issue and it's growing throughout the nation where we're having to house people with more folks with mental illness situations, problems. So we're going to, I think, hopefully we will get some support from our legislative delegation to try to get this initiative passed.
Mr. President, last Thursday, I was in a public meeting with a number of legislators, and I also put a plea at that time for Hinds County.
I saw an article, and I didn't get a chance to read it all, and I think it was in the paper yesterday about this issue. I think sometime on the weekend. But anyway, what's the pleasure, board?
So
been moved, proper second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Mr. Williams.
So next on the agenda, Mr. President, is Mrs. Bridget Smith, Director of Personnel. The item we would like to present to you a discussion and possible action on employee health insurance.
Good morning, Board President and Board members. Hinds County has been presented with 3 employee medical proposals, and which those are for consideration: Cigna Healthcare, our current carrier, United Healthcare, and Aetna Healthcare. And as you know that the employees have made concerns about our deductible, and that has been addressed through the agent Boxell Insurance Company as looking for a dual option plan for our employees' medical. They have come back with United Healthcare and Aetna presenting a dual option quote for our deductible. And also in that presentation, they have addressed getting all metropolitan area hospitals in this network, which will encompass UMC. And in this proposal, United Healthcare has come in under the boards, and we're recommending that at this time that the board considers making that contract with United Healthcare.
Second.
It's been moved properly second. Now, what is there was another mention of we got another small reduction. What is that?
It was the 4%. It was reduced again by 4%, with United Healthcare.
Okay. And that was also through United.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And so we don't. They're just The dual option, or we're taking the, what option?
We're requesting that the board approve the dual option, which gives the employees an option as to their deductible.
Okay, and that's what you voted on. Okay, it's been moved, properly second. Discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposers, motion is carried.
Ms. Smith, you might want to explain what the dual options are.
That will address the high deductible. The employee has a chance to choose their deductible, which is $5,000 deductible and a $2,500 deductible, and the employees have a choice, again, in choosing their deductible.
And on the $25,000 deductible, the employee will just pay a little bit more.
It will increase because you will have to pay for the lower deductible. And also we have some, United Healthcare has brought forth some incentives under their wellness program, and which that incentive, if they participate in the wellness program, that incentive is a gift card to the employee that participates in the wellness program.
Okay.
That's a
Any other questions?
This renewal, it will be effective November 1st, 2011.
Okay. All right. And the
President, may I add also another added benefit to United is that UMC is also added to the network, and I know that was a concern of many employees with the previous carrier.
Does that take care of
That
Thank y'all very much.
All right.
And
Carry.
yeah.
an agent for that? Do you have an agent for that?
She's there. Mark. Yeah, Mark.
So y'all next week are votes as well to continue your agency contract.
So,
It's been moved from second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Was Barton the only agent for that policy?
There is some parts of it, I think, is with statewide. Yeah, I don't know how it works, but they partner with that.
I mean, it seems like to me it would all come under one agent and not be broken out between multiple agents.
Well, that's the way we do. That is,
But who's the other agent and how much are you paying them?
It's only one agent, I think.
But there's a minority participation component with the agent.
The Barton is forced to pay out to, in this matter?
Well, it has been a policy, from my understanding of the board, to exercise the minority participation policy with the agent, so that would be at the discretion of the board.
So how much more does the county pay in insurance in order to exercise that policy?
I don't pay none. It's just expect the services of the
Need agents.
duties but it's no additional.
So that's what you're saying, but I mean, how much is added to the policy that we don't know about?
No, absolutely none.
I know we're paying
Maybe
Thomas
years ago.
$20,000 a year.
No.
Or he's being paid $20,000 a year. What does he do for that?
Well, that's left up to the either Barker will get that or whatever they were hired, they work that out. They split services in the policy, but as far as the county, we don't pay more any for.
Well, I know people from Oxford, but I've never met Mr. Thomas. Maybe I'd like to meet with him sometime and find out what he does. You know that. I mean, maybe he'd like to meet with me sometime so I could ask him what he does to get his money.
Well, if I may, Mr. President, how it works is that the agency, Bottrell Agency, receives 3% of the annual premium from United Healthcare, right. And then the agent breaks down the 3% among the lead agency and the minority participating agency. I think it's an 85-15% split in that service. So that's how it's financially broken down.
But we don't pay anymore.
Right, that's the total 3% cost.
Well, okay.
Whatever, we don't pay anymore. Okay.
But I can set up that meeting for
We
you.
actually all.
What's the next item on the agenda?
Added to it. Okay, yeah.
Do we have
No, he did not carry one to the agency. Sorry.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion is carried.
Okay, next on the agenda will be Mr. Clarence Williams, Director of Human Capital Development, with several issues for the board's consideration.
Is Mr. Lewis still here? No. I have a question I wanted to ask him. I see he doesn't have anything on the agenda. Maybe another business, when we come out of executive session, I can ask him if he's here.
We don't have other business for this meeting since it's a special.
Probably just bring it up because I need to. This is the first meeting of the month, isn't it? Okay. Is he going to be on the agenda for the next meeting?
Probably, no.
Okay.
If your question is, you can answer.
I don't know if I can ask it. I don't know if I can bring up something that's not on the agenda this meeting.
If it's just for discussion, that's fine. We can't act on it.
Okay. I'd like to bring something up for discussion.
You want?
Sure. Now's as good a time as any.
Okay.
Well, are there issues putting bios, radios on the air so that they can talk to the county and the other municipalities? Or is that currently happening? Are they able to have that conversation now?
I really don't think I need to answer that because I really don't know. The Sister Director, you might know.
I don't know about that issue. Mr. Lewis has handled all of that.
And I know it was Luke, and I can also, they're not on the house system.
Okay, why not?
And because they asked us, we submitted a letter to them some months ago and made for them to, for us to allow them to use the key to be placed on, we have not heard from them since. So they are on the state system.
Well, they're under the opinion, according to the emails I'm receiving, that they can only, that the board, the supervisors will only authorize the IDs if they use airways. I just need to know if that's so.
No. We sent them the letter. I think we need to get the letter from that was sent to them. That was where the board voted to give them the authority, but we treated them the same as any other political subdivision, and that is that they use our key, but we don't give no political subdivision key to be placed on it. We have not heard from them officially since that time for us to go ahead and key them in on our system.
Okay, so that's all they need to do is really just get with you.
So all they got to do is tell us when they want to. Am I correct on that? Correct. Tell us when they want to be placed on our system, we can place them on.
Okay, good deal. I will send that to the chief and we'll get that rolling. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry for the interruption. I appreciate it.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board, supervisors. I have two items today, both from the youth court. The first is to approve a budget amendment for the Attracting Visitors Manual program. There have been a number of appeals that have been submitted to the county administrator on this, and they want to buy some additional equipment for the judge, and I think a copier and a shredder, and this is a request to modify the budget to allow for those purchases.
Second. Do we have a second?
Second.
Move properly.
To do what now?
The judge has requested the copier and fax machine and something else. He wants to buy a new one, but he also wants to buy a shredder. And so they're amending their budget from this grant to accommodate that.
The issue that I have, let me talk about this.
Mr. Solid hoping to provide me with additional detail, and I'm still waiting for him.
This is Mr. Stallworth's grant.
I believe that when we passed the copyright resolution 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was, the idea was to put the copiers and fax machines in a central location and to everything funnels into that so that everybody would have printers and faxes on their desk. And we spent $59,000 last year in ink and toner providing for individuals to have copiers and faxes on their desk, which we need to do away with that in our budget. But as I understand this issue, this is something to do with confidential emails.
Yes, that comes from the Department of Public Safety that about daily occurrences that they need to be aware of.
So this is I guess an exception to that due to
The private nature of the information that they're receiving. Yes, sir.
check. Okay, yeah, I'll say that.
Okay. It's been moved, proper second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried.
The other departments need to know now, I'm coming after that $59,000 in toner and ink that's sitting on people's desks and they're using it for their own use. Okay, thank you.
The other is to approve renewal of a grant for the electronic monitoring in the amount of $80,000 with a $10,000 match from the youth court.
Second. Move proper second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda.
Can I ask one question, Mr. President, before Mr. Williams leaves? This is going to be working in conjunction with the system that the judge has in their budget for next year? This doesn't have anything to do with that?
I'm sorry.
The one that Judge Green wants video monitoring?
No, this is different.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Williams.
Good morning, Mr. President, Board of Supervisors. Permanent Zoning Department has a case to present before you, case number R1698. Mr. Larry Overhouse is requesting the rezoning of his property from residential district R1 to agricultural for the purpose of a mobile home. The property consists of 2.0 acres located on the south side of Raymond Bolton Road and Highway 467 in District 4. Planning Commission did meet in regards to this, and they granted a unanimous decision to approve it. 2 of the board members were absent, and there was no public opposition. Mr. Overhousing is here if you have any questions for him or his son-in-law to be reoccupy the property.
Just one quick question.
Sure.
This is in the unincorporated county, is that correct?
Yes.
I'm so moved. I'm moving for approval.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Move proper second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried.
Mr. President, under the purchasing department, we have one item for the board to consider. There's a state contract purchasing item. This was presented to me this morning from the Sheriff Department as related to the 2007 JAG grant. There's a remaining balance which the Sheriff Department would like to purchase a 2010 Crown Vic Victoria state contract, and we request your approval for that purchase.
So
Been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Move proper second. Discussion.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
So we're buying one, this gets back to what we were talking about earlier with the inventory. By buying this one on state contract, are we rolling a vehicle off the inventory, or are we maintaining that vehicle on the inventory? How does that work? Or how are we doing that?
The vehicle that's replaced has been towed. It's simple repair.
Oh, so it's gone anyway. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
And normally that's how it works, is a total vehicle or one that's been retired or something?
We've got plenty of old cars that we can turn in as we get a new one.
Okay.
So what you'll receive is a report from Mr. Robinson and the subsequent meeting retiring and cannibalizing a vehicle.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
That was already, what he's talking about, the accountable act.
It's already done. Okay, so it's been done already.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's your now.
Next one
And then
is,
insert.
oh, I'm sorry. No, we have Ms. Woods on the budget finance.
Oh, okay, I got this wood.
Good morning, President Smith and members of the board. I have one action today. These are the amendments. These amendments represent the Parliament request to transfer funds based on the explanations provided with each amendment in compliance with GASB 34. Additionally, there are no amendments that affect the general fund's unappropriated surplus, and I ask these amendments for your approval.
Okay.
Second.
Second discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion is carried.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our next item would be emergency purchases. There are no emergency purchases to report. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we have 3-minute searches for your review here, and no action is required.
All right. All right. I think the next item is on the call. No, but
Actually, Mr. Smith, you correct. I have no items to present to the board today. I had one matter under executive session, which I am withdrawing.
Okay, yeah. All right. Come in on this too.
Good morning, Mr. President, other board members. I was asked to cover this item, the first item on the agenda for Mr. Freelands, and that is the approval of supplemental agreement number 3 for the Sidewell Road Improvement Project MS 024-1257B, contingent on the board attorney's review, and I think the board attorney has already reviewed it.
Yes, sir. We have already reviewed it. It appears to be in order.
Okay. Been moved.
Second.
Proper second discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion is carried.
And I'll bring these to you to have the 3 documents signed.
Okay.
The second item is the approval to publish public notice to conduct a public hearing to amend the request to amend the Hinds County Local Solid Waste Management Plan to allow beneficial land application of food processing, wastewater residue in Hinds County.
So moved.
Second.
Move proper second discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
And in addition to that, I'm not sure which newspaper the county is in right now.
Advocate.
Jackson Advocate. May I put an amendment or?
You want to add declaring election?
Yes.
Subject to Fisher and Mr. Graham.
Except, what's the amendment?
To include this public notice in the Clarion Ledger newspaper.
Motion, yes.
So you want to be Jackson Advocate and Clarion Ledger?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so, you accept the, okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion is carried.
Mr. Baker, would you explain the beneficial land application of food processing?
Yes, ma'am, I definitely will. We've had several
of the land applications over the past years. And what happens is that you have a lot of wastewater material, and they take the material and apply it to agricultural land basically for fertilizer. And